Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavate Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavitvishavahai. Om Shanti. The mind wreaks havoc is the topic. Implied is the ungoverned mind wreaks havoc. What is implied here is it is not the mind per se, it is the ungoverned mind that wreaks havoc. And ungoverned mind implies lack of intellect, or no, ungoverned mind implies that the intellect is not powerful to govern it. Now the question is, by understanding how the mind wreaks havoc and avoiding that is the very process of strengthening the intellect. The very study of the mind is done by the intellect, and by the study and understanding makes the intellect powerful enough to govern the mind. So, in the book, there are 5 things. One is, the first one is wealth. The second one is body. The third one is emotion. The fourth one is intellect. And the fifth one is religion, spirituality. Now, at the physical level, it is of 2 things, though it is not described here. We study it also, because at the level of the physical body, there are 2 things. One is the attachment to the body itself. Another is action. So the very attachment to the body and the very attachment to action. So up to attachment to the body, we covered. The definition of ungoverned mind is moving in extremes. This is what ungoverned mind means. What does ungoverned mind means? Moving in extremes. It will go and attach itself, or it will just cut the cord and run away. Either it will talk too much, or simply disassociate. So the mind moving in extremes is what is called as ungoverned mind. So similarly, in relation to the same formula is what we are discussing at every level. So keep this as the standard formula, moving in extremes. So at the level of the physical body, the mind moves in extremes. What is moving in extreme? One person is excessively obsessed about the health all the time. Another extreme is doesn't even bother about it, care about it. And when the mind moves in extremes, it moves from one extreme to the other. That's what moving itself means. Either it will not exercise and it will die, or it will exercise, over-exercise, and because of exercise, it dies. So we hear people not exercising and dying, and on the other hand, we hear people who are exercising and dying. Now, what does it mean? Mind moves in extremes. The mind wreaks. This is how the mind wreaks. It moves in extremes. Very important is to understand the moving in extremes at the physical body. Now we will discuss a little bit about how the mind is, how the ungoverned mind wreaks havoc in its attachment to action. In its attachment to action. Again, in extremes. What is extremes in action? Either it will work, act, can't stay, or it will just sit in one corner, refusing to even get up and take a glass of water. Extremes. So that's why they say even to, they will not even get up to take their own glass of water. The remote will be 2 feet away. When somebody is crossing, they will say, pass the remote and go. They can't even get up and even can't even get up and take their own. So this is mind moving in extremes in relation to action. Wherever the energies are sapped and boredom has come in, the mind, you understand that action, there is an attachment involvement to action. Wherever there is energy is sapped, you feel lack of energy. Wherever you feel boredom, you can understand that you have got an attachment to action. But sir, arthritis pain, if I have, what will I do? What are we talking about as energy here? Where there is a goal, a purpose, irrespective of all that, some activity will continue. Again, I repeat, if there is a goal, a purpose, in spite of all ailments, action will continue. It will not stop. Because the very goal itself provides energy. The very goal itself is the driving factor that all these will not prevent. But sir, I'm 80 years old, what to do? Don't bother about all these things. What else? Just hear it and just hear it and forget it. What else can be? What else can be done? Are you able to follow? So what is attachment to action? Not doing, you will feel guilty. Doing, you will feel painful. Extremes. If you don't do, you feel guilty. If you do, it's painful. That is called attachment. So you do it, there is a pain. If you don't do it, also there is pain. Here we are talking about SAP's energy and all that in terms of the drive, the motivation to action. We are not talking about the physical energy here. We are talking about the drive, the inspiration, the motivation to action. Where there is a drive and inspiration and motivation to action, some action will happen. Action will continue. More you act, that much more energy you will have to act. Most of the time, what happens is the mind in its anxiety or greed for the result gets disillusioned about action. When will you stop action? When you are disillusioned about action only, you will stop. When will you get disillusioned about action? You will get disillusioned about action only when the result is not in you. When the result is not going in the way that you want it to be, that is where you will get disillusioned and stop. So, what is the right way now? What is the right way now? You simply keep acting. That's all. You simply be in action. So this is how mind wreaks havoc. It gets disillusioned about action when the results don't go the way. It gets disillusioned about action when the doing is painful. Why the doing is painful? The doing becomes painful when you think you are doing a favor to another. The doing becomes energetic, invigorating when you understand it's your duty. Again, I repeat, when you understand it as your duty, you will die performing your duty. When you think that you are doing a favor to somebody, you are benefiting somebody. That's where you get into all this. Are you able to follow? This is how mind develops attachment to action. As a result of attachment to action, what happens? Action will stop. So, where you think you are doing a favor to somebody, a benefit to somebody, obviously there will not be that much of energy and enthusiasm. Same action, if you understand it as your Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajahyo Hya Karmanah. Third chapter. Niyatam Kuru. If you understand actions as your obligations, you will die doing it, but actions will not stop. Okay, if you say that, the mind will go into the other extreme of feverishness about doing it, and then asking, result enna kedikum? What will the result? Or when will the result come? How long to keep doing it? Okay, how long to keep doing it? When will I get freedom? When will you get freedom from action? You will get freedom from action only 2 conditions. You will get freedom from action. First condition, natural death. Death will come and temporarily there will be freedom from action. And we are not talking about freedom from action from that angle. The other way where you get freedom from action is when you attain moksha. Where you take the position of the enlivener, where you become the consciousness, where you become the enlivener. Actions will continue and you will say, I have nothing to do with it. Anga kuda actions will not stop. You will only say, I have nothing to do with it. Are you able to follow? Therefore, when does action stop? Action stops. When? Upon death. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya akarmakrit. You cannot be into this. But the way in which we act, it is energies are sapped, boredom has come in, anxiety comes in, worry comes in, and we are constantly thinking about when it will stop. Are you able to follow? Finally, people say, sir, I'm so caught up in all these things, that's why I'm not able to pursue anything higher. We also want to pursue Vedanta and all that, sir. Caught up in the samsara, we don't know what to do. Intellect comes and says, where you are, the duties and obligations that you have to perform is the right place for you to grow. Escaping this, you can never grow. Therefore, where you are today is the best place for you to grow. There is no better place. The mind always says there is always a where I am, it is not possible. There is always something that is, there is an ideal place, there is a better place. In that ideal better place, I will grow. Not possible. Not possible. Where I am. Where I am now, it is not possible. Are you able to follow? That is attachment to action. Intellect comes and says, where you are stationed today is the best place for you to grow. Second, even if you want to grow, Ramtirtha says, make faithful use of what you have, he says. The way to grow is making faithful use of what you have. If you make faithful use of what you have, growth keeps happening. Making faithful use of what you have means performing actions in the way it ought to be, done. This is attachment in relation to action. To summarize, doing is painful, not doing, you feel guilty. When you are doing, you say, when will it stop? You say, okay, stop it and leave it. Third day, what will happen? Third day, you will start feeling guilty. This is how the mind oscillates. So what is the right way? Where I am, I have to keep performing my obligations, and there is no other, and there is no better place than where I am, no better method than what set of actions that I have to do, I do it rightly. Now don't ask what is right doing and all. We have studied all that already a lot. Karma yoga, how it has to be done and all that. You should recollect by yourself. Are you able to follow? So what is attachment to body? Moving in extremes. What is attachment to action? Moving from agitated action to inaction. Formula. Moving from agitated action to inaction. The very inaction will make you to do some actions. The very doing makes you so agitated, you will move back to inaction. So either agitated actions or holidays are inaction. Well, everything close பண்ணிட்டு I'll go there for some place. I'll take a break. I'll take a break. Please take a break. Huh? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Please take a break. Moving in extremes. This is attachment in relation to action. Then the next is attachment in relation to emotion. Yes.
So it's not about doing, it's about the notion that you carry about when it comes to attachment.
Yes, attachment to action is never about doing action. It is always about the wrong notion that you have about action. That's why knowledge, intellect means knowledge. What does knowledge do? Intellect means knowledge. And what does knowledge do? Knowledge always removes the wrong notions. So what we are teaching here, we are trying to, in each and every class that we do, we are only trying to remove the wrong notions, because that's what knowledge is all about. Very knowledge is to remove the wrong notion. So we are trying to discuss what all the wrong notions is. Don't ask, give me the entire list in one class itself. You can't digest. You can swallow how much you should put in your mouth. Isn't it? You take in so much into your mouth, and what you can swallow is only. So knowledge is given in doses. Yeah.
So for now, there are three notions that should be driving a person. First is, if I like to do, I do. If I don't like to do, is the first notion that drives. Then the second notion is, okay, it's my duty to do, but when I'm doing, there's a lot of pain. If I don't do, there's a lot of guilt. That's the second notion when it drives the obligatory action. And the third is the proper obligatory action, where the notion says gratitude should drive the action. So can you say these are the three levels of notions?
Now she's bringing 3 levels of notion from some other class that we have discussed. We are not discussing that here. I'm only saying in this context, she's bringing in from some other class. She's bringing in level number 1 is likes and dislikes. Level number 2 is doing obligations. Level number 3 is gratitude. Will that correct? Will that overcome attachment to action? Now, the proper way of thinking is whatever is being told in this class, stick to this. If we start bringing in from all the classes, we'll be moving, we'll be flying all over the place. In this classroom, understand what for today, attachment to action is what doing is painful, not doing is guilty. Stick to that. Don't bring in factors that is not being discussed. This is called meandering. This is called wandering in thinking. This is not thinking. This is simply wandering. Second is not listening to what is being taught. Not listening to what is being taught now. Able to follow? Don't bring in factors like this. Stick to what is being. Secondly, when you are clarifying, clarify from what is being told now. Don't clarify bringing in factors that is being discussed in some other thing and connect, because I have to sit and explain that also now. Another half an hour it will go. Then we are not moving properly in a class. சரியா வெங்கட் இல்ல தைரியமா கிளாஸ்ல தான் பேசுறோம். After the class over and all, I will tuck my tail and I will walk in quietly. Yeah. All this is discussed only here. You follow? So these are the what is attachment to action? Attachment to action is this. Doing is also painful. If you say doing is painful, stop doing it. What is the problem? You will stay. Stop doing it is also painful. Then what do you want? Then what are you asking for? That's what attachment is. You don't know what you are asking for. Able to follow? The very notion of attachment is that you don't know what you are asking for. Doing it is painful. Not doing it is also painful. Because you get disillusioned about when will you stop acting? You think you want something, and when there is no indication of you going to get what you want, you stop. That's why we always look for indicators to the result. Without an indicator, it's okay, sir. I'll be motivated to continue. But there are no indicators. This is attachment to action. Then the third thing, emotional level. Attachment at the level of emotions. Mind, wreaks havoc. Okay, what is attachment to emotions? Okay, what is the nature of emotion? The nature of emotion is very surface, very superficial. Emotions means it is very surface, it is superficial. Unless a powerful intellect is there and guiding it, it doesn't turn deep, mature. Minus intellect, emotions are all surface and superficial only. People will not like to hear it. People will not accept it. But the truth is what? Minus the powerful intellect supporting it, guiding it, the emotions will not turn. The emotions will not be deep and mature. Are you okay till now? If emotions by nature can be deep and mature, then why intellect? Are you able to follow? If emotions, without the intellect itself, emotion can become deep and mature, then there's no need of intellect at all. No, it is unnecessary. Appendix madri I don't, isn't it? No. Minus the intellect, emotions are always surface, at the surface level, superficial level. Be it good or bad, it doesn't matter. Be it good or bad. The anger and all that is also superficial. The charity and the goodness that we do is also very superficial. You follow what I'm saying? Like, for example, okay, when a person, you are driving in the car, and in every traffic signal there are beggars. In every traffic signal there are beggars. So scary to drive, to make sure that you don't run over them, because they are standing right in the front. How will they come? They have only 5 seconds with you. In that 5 seconds, they have to make you so emotional. Only when they make you that emotional, they can get what they want. So what to do for that? What to do for that? They will come in the most pitiable. They will come in the most pitiable form. They will be having bandages, and blood will be oozing. Blood is not oozing at all, because if the blood is oozing like that, that fellow can't stand there and. But emotions at the surface level cannot think about all this. It sees something, get carried away by it, and does. Are you able to follow? Have you ever observed? We have two behaviors. One behavior is, normally in the signal, we will not give way to others at all. Everybody wants to go front. When there is a crisis, everybody wants to help. Have you ever observed these two contradictory behaviors? Earthquake, everybody will. When the whole city was flooded, everybody is helping each other. Third day, what happened? Third day, back to square. Are you able to follow? This is surface superficial emotion. This is surface and superficial emotion. So the goodness is also very superficial. The so-called positive emotions are also superficial. And the so-called negative emotions are also superficial. To understand this, examples are given. 2 examples are given. One example is one example is the child is crying, afraid of the pinprick of the vaccine, saying, I will not have the vaccine, because of the immediate thing. Because of that 1 minute, because of that 1 second thing, it is refusing the life saving. What will you do? As an adult, what are you supposed to do? You will hold the child so tightly that the child cannot run, and the vaccine will be given. Oh, what a cruel person. Leave the choice to the child, sir. Who are you to decide? The child can decide. Leave the choice to the child. No, let the child decide whether it wants the vaccine or not. Why are you interfering with the children's rights? Will you say that? You will say all that as long as it's not your child. Yeah. The moment it is your child, what will you do? I will wait for the child to grow, understand the importance of vaccines, and then choose whether to have the vaccine or not. Will you say that? You will not. Why? Because you understand, and the child doesn't. This is how intellect functions. The intellect understands, the mind doesn't understand. So what it does, it has an appropriate right way of guiding. The second example that he gives is this. An elderly person, so fond of sweets, and he is diabetic, but he can't control. But he can't control taking sweets. During the vacation, we used to travel to go to different places. Now, every vacation, we will go to one aunt house, uncle's house, or they will come. That's how it is done. So, one of the villages we go, that's the neighbor place. We'll go. When you visit them, you carry sweets. No. When you visit them, you carry sweets and you give. Isn't it? You have a safety locker in your house. What will you keep inside that? You have a safe. What will you keep inside that? Documents, correct? Documents you will keep. What you will keep? Jewelry you will keep. All the valuables you will keep, isn't it? In that house, the lady will keep the sweets in the safe. They ask that, Mommy, எதுக்கு இதை போய் பீரோல வச்சு போட்டுறீங்க நீங்க இதெல்லாம் you don't know. Midnight, the uncle will come and eat the sweet. He said, this man, he is the regional manager in one of the government banks. Middle of the night, that fellow will wake up, open the safe stealthily, take a sweet and eat. The craving is there so much, the intellect is not powerful enough to say, stop it. Are you able to follow? The craving is so much. The craving is so much. The intellect is not able to say, stop it. And what is emotion? Craving is that emotion. So that craving drives you to do anything. Craving, temptation, all are one and the craving, temptation. What are all the synonyms? What all synonyms you know? You please use it. Obsession, another word. Obsession, another word. Craving, another word. Getting tempted. All this is nothing but emotions taking over. What does the intellect do? The intellect rightly guides it. Are you okay till now? Emotions are towards relationships. Emotion is a very natural thing of all species. Emotions are very natural. It is because of emotions we have relationships. It is because of emotions we have associations, we have relationships. We have associations, we have relationships, and all that is for what? Peace and harmony, isn't it? We want an association, we want relationships for what? Peace and harmony, correct? The moment relationship comes, what goes out? Peace is gone, harmony is gone, disharmony sets in, fight sets in, and then they say, oh my God, I made a mistake, sir. Are you able to follow? Attachment to lack of intellect in relation to emotions is nothing but expectations. Again, I repeat. Attachment to emotions is nothing but carrying expectations. Sir, how can we live life without expectations? கொஞ்சமாவது expectation இருக்கணும்ல sir. Okay, we should not over expect, but reasonable normal expectations and all is right, sir. And what is normal reasonable expectation according to you? That is attachment. So in relation to emotions, the relationships, lack of intellect is nothing but expectations. You are supposed to live life with knowledge and understanding, not through expectations. But people believe they have a right to expect. They believe that they have a right. இது கூட எனக்கு ரைட் இல்லையா சார்? இந்த இது கூட don't I even have this much of right? It's lost. Intellect comes and says your only right is to serve. Your only right is to serve. Your only right is to do your duties. So attachment to emotions is nothing but having expectations. And always whenever we talk about expectation, we give an adjective. And that adjective that we give is unreasonable expectations. It's a double emphasis. அவ்வளவுதான். Expectationsனாலே unreasonable தான். Yeah. And still why do we call it as unreasonable expectation? It is like double emphasis. இல்லையா? அது எப்படின்னா அறிவு கெட்ட முட்டாள் சார் இல்லையா? முட்டாள்னாலே அறிவு இல்லைன்னு தான் அர்த்தம். அறிவு கெட்ட முட்டாள்னா டபுள் எம்பசிஸ். லைக் தட் இட் இஸ் இல்லையா? Because you want to communicate, no, what to do now. So in relation to emotions, what is it? It is, in relation to emotions, it is expectations. And what is an expectation? Expectation is nothing but determining how others should behave. Expectation is nothing but you deciding how others should behave in thought, in word, in deed, everything you decide. That is called expectation. Are you able to follow? Expectation in artham, I decide what others thought, word, and deed. Are you okay till now? If others decide for you, is it acceptable? No. If others deciding for you is not acceptable, then how can you decide for the other? That's why, sir, understanding means, that is why understanding means what? Morning behavior I will decide. First half of the day I decide, second half of the day other person decides. Sir, how does it work like that? You follow what I'm saying? Therefore, emotions is the attachment to emotions is nothing but having expectations. But if they do something wrong, what will I do, sir? But I expect them, no? Mind will not stay quiet without wanting to boss the other. All emotional problems rende word use பண்ணுங்க, it will be clear. All emotional problems, 2 words, you will be aware of it. இந்த 2 வார்த்தை, if you remember these 2 words, you will know the mistake that you are making. Everybody wants to be a policeman and a teacher. Again, I repeat. All human beings want to be a policeman and teacher. Sir, because to teach them is my duty, no, sir. You learning and practicing is your duty. By you learning and practicing, others will learn. But all emotional problems stems from what fact? Stems from the fact that you want to be a policeman and the teacher. Are you able to understand now these two words? Yeah. Policeman na violation isn't it? Waiting for that and then catch hold of the person and thrash the fellow out. Second is teaching. Give a lecture to that. This is emotional attachment. So intellect comes and says, don't be a policeman, don't be a teacher. Expectations justifies being a policeman and the teacher. This is the third one. The fourth one is, are you okay at the emotional level? Expectations, expectations, policeman, teacher. Facebook, social media, all over hit on the reason. See, no other invention became so popular, so much of a success like this one. No. What is the reason? Everybody can be a policeman there. Everybody can be a teacher also there. Correct? I used to wonder, vaccine would have popular, isn't it? Even vaccines didn't get this popular. Even science and things didn't get popular. But why the social media became so much of it and everybody wants to be a part of it? Why? Because in this, two things that you should not do is fully catered. What are the two things that you should not do? Policeman and teacher. But sir, unga class le points mattum podalam illaya. Adu okay va? Rama. Adam, we are saying don't. When you are saying don't do na, at least this can be done, no, sir. How to reach out to people? Sir, people should come, no. Suddenly you will become a teacher that you want to bring more people. You have come, you learn, that's it. You don't have to worry about bringing. You're able to follow? So 3 words, emotions. See, these are all the things that I have in my head. Emotional attachment. Now, I should be aware of. In the moon and I'll be thinking to myself. Every day I'll be thinking to myself. No expectations. Don't be a teacher. Don't be a policeman. 7:45, 7:45, 6:30 teach till I go to sleep in the night, continuously teaching only. Don't be a teacher, don't be a teacher. No, whole day teaching. Are you able to follow? Emotions, attachment is these 3 words. Expectation, policeman, and teacher. Have you ever observed why everybody wants to write a book? They will write a book. They will print it. Yeah, they will write a book. They will print it and distribute it for free. Go green, isn't it? You should go green. Isn't it? You won't even know whether they are actually. Why this thing wanting to write a book? You want to be a teacher. How ego fulfilling it is to be a teacher. How ego fulfilling it is to be a policeman. Expectations. This is at the emotional level. Then comes the intellectual level. What is at the level of the intellect? At the level of the intellect, being fanatic to a concept. That is intellectual. Nowadays they use new terms, no? Intellectual terrorism, isn't it? Financial terror, intellectual terrorism is the intellectual terrorism. What is that? Fanatic to a thought, fanatic to an idea without any rational basis at all to it. That is attachment to the intellect. Second is herd instinct. Everybody does it, I also follow. So, a fanaticism and herd instinct are the extremes of the intellect. In a communist country, you are brainwashed and you will be a communist. In a capitalist country, you are brainwashed and you will be a capitalist. Even though it looks like the intellect, again you understand it as play of the mind only. Are you able to follow? Again you understand it as a play of the mind. You have your convictions, you have your understanding, but you are not fanatic about it and imposing it on the other. You have your convictions. Everybody should have some convictions. No need to force it on the other. But what does attachment to intellect means? I want to force my things on the other. Are you able to follow? Intellect becomes subservient to the mind, herd instinct, academic literacy. These are all attachment to the wrong side of the intellect. Are you able to follow? Academic literacy, herd instinct, serving the mind. Opposite of that is, what is the true intellect? The proper education. Okay, academic literacy now, what does it mean? Utility oriented education. This padcha enna kadaikum? First question. If I study this, what will happen? You know why education is always done when at a young age? Because at that young age only, you will ask without the utility. You will learn something without utility. As you keep growing, actually you are not growing. As you keep aging and deteriorating, as you keep aging and deteriorating, what will you do? You will start asking for utility. Because of the utility, the very knowledge itself is so narrow, so restricted, so constricted. Are you able to follow? So what is intellect? The right understanding. What is the right understanding? The right understanding is the child at 10 will ask, what is the use of social science? It will not ask. It will ask, what is social science? What is geography? It will ask. But it will not ask one question. What is that one question it will not ask? This padcha. The moment the thought enters the child, intellect has deteriorated. The intellect has gone off to sleep now. Because the whole thing is about the utility. Second, you never do something for utility. You learn, the very learning and understanding will reveal the utility. Again, I repeat, you only study, you only learn, you only understand. You don't worry about the utility. The very learning and understanding it rightly, properly will reveal the utility. But what is happening today? Even before the education started, the question is utility. What is it? What will I get? What will I get? In the fall of human intellect, there is the topic liberal education and servile education. That's what we are discussing now. So, either it is servile education or herd instinct or serving the mind. What is proper intellect? True education, governing the mind. That's why we talk about governing the mind. Invariably, what happens to the intellect? It gets stuck in any one of these. When it gets stuck to any one of these, it's no more intellect, it becomes the mind. It appears to be an intellect, but then if these three factors happens, it ceases to be intellect and it becomes the mind. Lastly, religion. Attachment to religion. The purpose of religion is to inquire and evolve. Again, the purpose of religion is to inquiry and evolution. What is the trend today? What is the trend today? One set are mechanically religious, other set without even inquiry dismisses it. One set without even inquiry dismisses it. Why? All these are superstitions, sir. All these are superstitions. So without even inquiry, one set dismisses it, another set mechanically, phonetically stick on to it. These are the extremes again in religion, attachment to religion. Second, phonetic attachment to the morals and ethics and all that. A phonetic attachment to what is called as morals, ethics, culture, all this. Not realizing that the purpose of religion is to inquiry and evolution. One area where inquiry is not at all done is religion, isn't it? At least even in sciences and worldly knowledge, some inquiry is done, certain growth is happening, changes are happening, isn't it? In religion, it is very clear what? No need to inquire, simply adhere. Simply adhere. Are you able to follow? Don't make an attempt to inquire at all. Tadvitti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. He says inquiry. Reverential inquiry. Reverential inquiry. That's all. What is religion? A reverential inquiry. Opposite of that is attachment. What is attachment? Either mechanically doing it or dismissing it. Most of the time, people do it out of fear also. Might as well do it. Why? Because it is said, you will suffer, your children will suffer, your grandchildren will suffer. Yeah. Out of fear, intellect says, doesn't matter. As a starting point, you do it out of fear, it's okay. Over a period of time, through knowledge and understanding, you will transform. Are you able to follow? Therefore, what is attachment to religion? Fanaticism and adhering mechanically, no inquiry, or calling the whole lot of superstition and dismissing it. Of all the attachments, this attachment is more deadly. Why? Because you can kill somebody in the name of God and you will not feel guilty at all. That's why this attachment is so dangerous. In all other areas of you causing pain, you will feel, you will have a remorse. You will feel that you will feel like I should not be doing it again. But here, you can devastate a person, you can murder a person using religion, morals, ethics. That's why attachment to this is very deadly. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. It's very deadly because you can murder a person. You see. Still, mind will not get rid of this attachment. They say all religions talks about love, isn't it? All religions talks about love, and all religions is a way of life, they say, isn't it? And all wars are fought in the name of religion only. All wars are fought in the name of religion, and all killing happens in the name of religion only. If you have seen historically, the killings that happen in the name of God vis-a-vis other killings. You know the numbers? Other killings are infinitesimal. Here and there, one thing keeps happening. The murder that happens in the name of religion. All wars are fought in the name of God only. If not all, most of the wars. Therefore, what is spiritual attachment? This is spiritual attachment. Mind can get attached to wealth, mind can get attached to body, mind can get attached to action, mind can get attached to emotions, mind can get attached to intellect, and mind can get attached to religion. The role of the intellect is to ensure that this much of attachment is possible, and you have to be aware of it and avoid it. You have to be aware of it and avoid it. The problem of attachment is this. In the areas of your attachment, you won't know that you are attached. Again, I repeat. In the areas of your attachment, you won't even know that you are attached. Even if you are told you are attached, you will refuse to accept it. Again, I repeat. In the areas of your attachment, you will not know that you are attached. Even if somebody comes and tells you that you are attached, you will refuse to accept it. Because you will say, maybe others are all attached, sir. I am genuine only. That's correct. Correct. All other parents are attached to their children, sir. I can fully see it also. I can fully see it. I can understand it. All other people are attached to their children, grandchildren. I can see it so clearly, sir. But in my case, it is very genuine, sir. This is the devastating nature of attachment. The devastating nature of attachment is this. You will not know it, and even if you are told, you will not accept it. But you can see others' attachment very clearly. How others are attached, you can see very clearly, and you cannot see how you are. That's why it's called moha. Attachment is delusive, it says. Because of your attachment, you alone get deluded, not the others. Because the others get suffocated and they leave you. In order to safeguard themselves, in order to escape your suffocation, they leave you. Who your attachment dilutes? You. Out of this delusion, so many thinking happens. What are the thinking? What are the thinking? Everything you do, there will be a justification. There will be a justification in being a teacher. There will be a justification in being a policeman. There will be a justification in avoiding actions. There will be a justification for everything. Shastra will call it as justification. You will call it as reasoning. Again, I repeat. Shastra says it is all justifications. What you are giving is all justifications. Shastra says that. You will say, no, sir, it is not justification. It is backed by solid reason and understanding. What is solid reason and understanding? At least in my house, I want to be a policeman, sir. At least in my house, I want to be a teacher. At least through Facebook, I'm just saying it's a take it or leave it is other person's problem, isn't it? People take an objective stance also. Height of attachment is the attached person taking an objective stance. The person is extremely attached but takes an objective stance. Remember Swamiji's example? 2 hours they will sit and gossip. 2 hours they will sit and gossip, make a mincemeat of that person, and then last statement will be what? Isn't it? Why should we talk about after what? After talking about them for 2 hours. Mincemeat. Mincemeat is Tamil word in Kottu Parota, isn't it? They are making chopped them into bits and pieces. And then saying, I have nothing to do. This is called the height of delusion, where the person who is extremely attached and possessive assumes an objective stance. Are you able to follow? Therefore, powerful intellect, taking the Shastras as the Pramanam, says, all these are attachment. I should try and get over this attachment. I should try and get over this attachment because it wreaks havoc. To whom? To yourself. To yourself. Please remember, if you are harming yourself, what will you do to the other? You will harm the other only. Are you able to follow? If you are harming yourself, what will you do to the other? Will you be compassionate to the other? You will be harming the other only. This is what attachment does. Therefore, to ensure progress, strengthen the intellect. See, strengthen the intellect means that's what we are doing. discussing about the mind is what strengthening the intellect is. Understanding the devastating effects of the mind is what strengthening the intellect is. As though there is no something separately you go and do for strengthening the intellect. The Shastric study and practices of the yogas itself is strengthening the intellect. So, material, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual. From another angle, attachment means the excessive value, overemphasis you place. Wherever you place a overemphasis, that's called attachment. Overemphasis, very old English. Exaggeration, 20 years back. Today, magnification. Overemphasis, exaggeration, magnification. This is what attachment does. It magnifies. Black market, a black market value exaggerates. Intellect is to clip the exaggeration and reveal the reality. Mind exaggerates. Out of attachment, the tendency of the mind is to exaggerate. Pleasure it exaggerates, pain it exaggerates, joy it exaggerates, sorrow it exaggerates, success it exaggerates, failures it exaggerates. So out of this attachment, how mind wreaks havoc, it exaggerates everything, it exaggerates, magnifies everything. It will magnify, and in that magnification, it will get frightened. It will magnify and it will get frightened out of its own magnification. So what intellect does? Intellect clips the magnification and reveals the reality. What is the reality? You, for example, take a physical pain. You having pain is the reality. The intensity is brought in by the mind's magnification. There is a pain. There is a pain in the body, is the reality. But the magnification comes from the mind. Doctor says, I can give medicine to the real pain. Magnification, what can I do? You know that? Doctors can give to the real pain. But if it is so magnified, it doesn't work. Are you able to follow? So what is attachment? Exaggeration. Overemphasis. Giving it a excessive value, exaggerated value, magnifying it. No, I said one word in anger. Why are you exaggerating it so much? You'll ask the other, isn't it? You'll ask the other. No, Nikki, I was in that bad mood. Bad mood. Especially class, I'll be so agitated. After the class, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, then you will calm down, isn't it? Only you will calm down. Maximum agitations. Suppose somebody comes and asks you something, you say, and then you will tell the other one, why are you exaggerating it? You will want the other not to exaggerate, but you won't know that you are exaggerating. As the mind wreaks havoc. You will understand how the other is exaggerating, and you will want to clip that, but you will never know how you are exaggerating. Intellect comes and says, you don't make the mistake. This is the topic. The mind wreaks havoc. The next topic is fortify the intellect. How to fortify the intellect? He's going to give some methods of how to fortify the intellect, which we will take up in the next session. Next session, we'll continue with the topic, fortify the intellect. Do you have anything?
Mala has posted a class.
Yeah. Yes. What is he asking? Sir, you are saying we should not try to teach because it is an indirect way of policing them. Direct way of policing them. Indirect Mala. We should not try to teach because it is the direct way of policing them. However, does our Shastra not expect the parent to teach their kids as a duty? The Shastra tells you at the age of 6 and 7, go and leave the child with the Guru and don't look at them for the next 12, 14 years. However, அது எங்கேருந்து however வந்ததோ தெரியல. இது வந்து Mala's philosophy. Mala. Shastra says very clearly what? The moment they reach the age of 7, 8, do the initiation ceremony. That's called Upanayana. Do the initiation ceremony and pack them off to Gurukula. And when they go to Gurukula, don't keep calling them morning and evening. What happened? Did you eat? What happened? Did you eat? So, அதெல்லாம் போயிடுச்சு. Therefore, of course, parents should follow what they preach and not have expectations from their teaching. And it is a sin to teach, control other kids when their parents are alive. So what Mala is saying is, எங்க வீட்ல நான் policeman இருக்கிறேன்னா, what is your problem? I am not going and policing neighbors' children. I am not policing, and I'm only I'm being a policeman in my house, and it's a duty. And Shastra has asked us to do it. Is my understanding correct? Is the Mala's question. Mala. Shastra is not saying that. Shastra is not saying that. Is your understanding correct? No, it's wrong. Your understanding is wrong. Because will you allow your child to be educated by another child, or you will want your child to be educated by a teacher? Do you want your child to be tutored by another child, or do you want your child to be tutored by teacher? Parents are also children only. Grandparents are double children. Vijayarangan. Now, sir, at least my grandchild I'm going to teach Vedanta. Vijayarangan, utrunga pavam. Leave the child alone. What does Shastra say? Shastra said very clearly. What? In order to teach the Shastra, in order to teach the values, in order to teach them, there is a way to teach. What is the way to teach? There is only one way to teach. What is the only way to teach? By you living it. Children learn by observation. When they see you living it, they will. One of the father asked me, sir, I'm doing all the morning, evening, Sandhya prayers and all, sir, but the children are not at all doing. I said, you just do it, that's all. Because what did you do when you were 12 and 15? Did you do any Sandhya prayers when you were 12 and 15? You didn't know. No, sir, that's why I made a mistake. I don't want the children to make a mistake. In your house, nobody did it. You do. So what you do now, you do the prayers by yourself and stay quiet. The children learns it. Are you able to follow? Problem is when children is taught Vedanta, they are not expected to practice it today. They should be taught and left alone when they go into the next stage of life, what we call as the Grihastha ashram alone they should practice, not when they are in a student life. But the difficulty that we have is we want them to practice all the philosophy now. This is not the time to practice. This is for them to just learn it and store it. Anxiety of the parent is what? At some point of time, the children have become a burden now. The moment they learn it and they become self-sufficient, I need not. The burden is off my head. I want to be a policeman. At the same time, being a policeman becomes a burden so much. Therefore, what is the right way to do? The right way to do is parents' duty is to teach. It is a sin if they don't teach. Again, I repeat, parents' duty is to teach, and it is a sin if they don't teach. And the only way to teach is by the parent living it. The only way to teach is by the parent living it. Is okay, Mala? Yes.
So what is the indicator that a person has intellect?
The question is, what is the indicator that a human being has intellect? Question. What is the indicator that the person has intellect? Are there any indicators in the first place? Yes, there are. There are indicators. Definitely there are indicators. What are they? The first indicator of the intellect alert. Intellect is weak functioning. Intellect grows in stages. So the indicators also changes. Are you able to follow? Intellect grows and changes, indicators also changes. First level of availability of the intellect is middle path. The first level of availability of the intellect is middle path. The second level of availability of intellect is harmony. The third level of availability of intellect is objectivity. Objectivity and vairagya. The fourth level of availability of intellect is detachment. என்னெல்லாம் சொன்னா நான் மறந்துட்டேன் லிஸ்ட். என்ன சொன்னா? First is middle path. Second is harmony. The third is objectivity, vairagya. The fourth is sannyasa. The fourth is sannyasa. If all these indicators are there, you know intellect is functioning. It's very, these are touchstones that tells you very clearly how intellect is available. Middle path is the beginnings, is the starting point, because we said attachment means moving in extremes. So what is the infancy stage of the development of intellect? Middle path. Aduve periya relief. The middle path itself is a very big relief. Middle path itself is a big relief. Then the next stage is what? the harmony, the inner harmony and the outer harmony. Develop then intellect is indicators. Intellect is there. எங்க போனாலும் ஒரு சண்டையா வருது சார்னா, wherever I go, I'm getting agitated. Nowadays, sir, anything that I see, dharma and all I can't stand, sir. I see adharma and I can't stand dharma. And who is adharma? Pakistan is adharma. Correct? Who decided they are adharma? Rajavelu da சொன்னார். I love him so much for that. Sir, DMK is adharma. DMK na ஒரு political party அது. DMK is adharma, sir. Who told him that it is adharma? Harmony கிடையாது. ஹார்மனியே கிடையாது. சார் இந்த சிவன் சொத்தை திருடுறவங்க எல்லாம் பார்த்தா தான் எனக்கு கோபம் வருது. Somewhere everybody have their own way of creating disharmony. ஏன்னா சாஸ்திரம் சொல்லுங்க, சிவன் சொத்து குலநாசம் இல்லையா சார்? அதனாலதான் சிவன் சொத்து அவங்க குலநாசம்னு சொல்லி இருக்குது. Why should you get agitated? Are you able to follow? So second level of availability of intellect is harmony, inner harmony and a outer harmony. Because of that harmony, people look up to you and they ask you something. Because of their harmony first. Are you able to follow? The third level, third indicator, another objectivity. Objectivity is the ability to take one step back and see it without getting involved in everything. Just the ability to take one step back and see it rightly. Objectivity. Vairagya. Vairagya means what? Likes and dislikes are enemies. Adu promote பண்ணக்கூடாது. Raga Dvesha is the enemies. Enemies யாராவது வீட்டில் வச்சுக்கோமா? எனிமின்னு தெரிஞ்சா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் திங் வாட் வி வில் டு வில் கிக் த ஃபெலோ அவுட், isn't it? ஆனா அவரே அவ்வளோ சேஃபா வச்சுன்னு இருக்கிறோம். பிகாஸ் ஃப்ரெண்டு மாதிரி இருக்குது இல்லையா? ஸோ வைராகியா மீன்ஸ் again the function of intellect is what? Raga Dvesha as the enemies. Kama Raga Dvesha. Kama means craving for what you don't have. Raga means attachment to what you have. Dvesha, hatred. The moon is the enemy. Is indicator of intellect. Last one, the detachment. Okay, va? Ithoda nikala. This intellect is so important because it is this intellect that is going to guide the mind right from the wandering to stable to single pointed concentration to meditation. Varaikum the intellect is going to play a vital role. The entire spiritual journey, it is intellect that is going to play such a vital role. These are the indicators. Are you able to follow? So sannyasathu appuram innonu add pannikonga. Enadhu? Meditation. Adu varaikum varanum intellect. So intellect starts where? Middle path ஆரம்பிக்கிறது. ஸ்டேஜா போறது. என்னெல்லாம் ஸ்டேஜ் பா சொன்ன? மிடில் பாத், ஹார்மனி, objectivity, detachment, meditation. அது வரைக்கும் இது தேவை. These are all the indicators of the intellect. How do you know you are having an intellect? When you have these five, sequentially go. Illa simultaneous varadu. Don't try to make everything simultaneous. Shailesh. அவருக்கு தான் ஒரே கவலை, சைமல்டேனியஸா சீக்வன்ஷனா இருக்கிற சைலேஷ்க்கு தான் அந்த கவலை இல்லையா? சைலேஷ் சீக்வன்ஷியலா இல்லையா? சைமல்டேனியஸே வேணும் இல்லையா? மிடில் பார்த்து மெடிடேஷனும் சைமல்டேனியஸ் எல்லாம் பண்ணக்கூடாது, isn't it? So sequentially you go from middle path, harmony, objectivity, detachment, meditation. வைராக்கியம்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை சொன்னா சன்னியாசம் சான்ஸ்கிரிட் வேர்ட் சொன்னேன். யூஸ் இட் replaceably. You use it in a very broad sense. அதுக்கு தான் வைராக்கியம்னா I defined it. What is வைராக்கியம்? The understanding of kama raga dvesha as enemies is vairagya. What is detachment? What is detachment? ஒரே வார்த்தை. What is detachment? Detachment na ஒண்ணுதான். Okay, opposite of detachment is attachment. Attachment க்கு another word என்ன? Mine. What is detachment? Not mine, huh? Detachment is all is God. Isavasyam idam sarvam. You don't say not mine. Everything is of God's. Mine சொன்னா not mine சொன்னா வேற யாரும் எடுத்து போறாங்கன்ற பயம் வருதாங்க. Isn't it? If I say not mine, immediate பயம் என்னங்க? நான் not mine சொல்றேன், வேற யாரும் எடுத்துட்டு mine சொல்றாங்கல்ல. Sannyasa is what? Giving it to the right owner. எந்த தப்பா சொல்லியிருந்ததை எடுத்துன்னு போய் ரைட் ஓனர்கிட்ட கொடுக்குறோம். Who is the right owner? Isavasyam idam sarvam. அதுதான் detachment. Meditation. These are the indicators of intellect. சரியா? With this we conclude for today. We'll continue the topic 45 the intellect.